get started. Your call here. If you want to start in child pose or laying on your back, more traditionally, yoga starts maybe seated position. I think we started this way last week as well. So just kind of sitting upright, just taking a moment to kind of tune in. You might say meditate, to connect to the sensations of your body and breath, more of the subtle self, just to kind of slow down, right? Good idea to roll your shoulders back and down. Sometimes I see people sitting and they're too tense here. You kind of shake your shoulders out. Okay, sit up really tall. And intentionally place your hands somewhere, either palms face down, or if you like to do a mudra, you could do palms up, a little bit more receiving position. And then start to become still. Try to relax your face a little bit. Close your mouth, so lips sealed, teeth touched, tongue at the top of the mouth, and then start to breathe slow and deeper in and out your nose. Try to fill up the lungs deeper than normal, maybe even hold the breath at the top, and try to exhale deeper than normal. Remember, you are trying to elongate the inhale, the exhale, and the breath holds if that's part of your breath practice. I've often mentioned that we do breath holding in yoga every day, okay? So it's really one of the main breathing practices to simply take an inhale and hold that breath, all right? It's very practical. You can do it like anywhere at any time. It's not like you need to be warmed up or anything. You don't have to hold that long either. It will get easier over time. So try to remember that as a yoga practice that's kind of really easy to start doing regularly. Last few moments here, if you'd like to set an intention, if you'd like to do an om on your own there, or a big thing we do in yoga, like say there's somebody in our life that is, let's just use the example of not feeling well. You keep them on your mind's eye. The yoga means union, connection. And if you you create a lot of energy in practice, if you keep them on your mind's eye, whatever you keep on your mind's eye, in your awareness, attention, you send energy there. So the yogis say if there's somebody that needs energy, if there's some goal that you're working toward, keep your mind's eye on it as you practice. All right, yogis, please take your time. Big inhale here. Big exhale. Now, coming off of the feet, get into your tabletop. Let's just start with the cat-cow. You guys know I'm a big fan of starting with some movements here, all right? And depending on how you're feeling, you could do this in more of like a down dog, okay? You could do it stronger or softer, but try to continue with your breath practice and try to keep this connection to the more subtle self that you created in the first position. So in essence, the practice remains the same, but now we add more of a dynamic body, okay? You guys know cat-cow, right? Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, exhale. If you want to start to move a little bit more freely, please go for it. Now you can see I'm drawing circles. I'm trying to loosen up my core, increase blood flow through the body, and like lubricate the joints. We have this fluid inside of our diarthrotic joints, synovial fluid. It's the fluid of these joints that are freely movable. And it's good to really kind of move your joints more complex, just kind of make sure there's no stagnation of synovial fluid, just to move it around a little bit more, okay? Please take your time here, yogis. Now I want to go, that's spinal and pelvic tilt. This is how I start a lot of classes. I keep moving forward. You make it your own pace, okay? Hands down, feet down. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Big inhale and exhale. Now, you can see I'm not moving my back a lot here. I hurt my back about a week ago, and it was getting a lot better, and then I pushed it yesterday, and now it's irritating again. So how would I practice? Softer, a little bit more light in these exercises, because to be honest, this would probably make my back feel a lot better. So I'm just doing a light version, okay? Elbow to knee, inhale, pull that belly in. Notice I'm really pressing my left foot and right hand down to stabilize my body, okay? We're simply gonna bring the right hand, right knee and left hand down and do our second side. Please take your time, left leg and right arm. But don't rush. Notice how I take a moment here to drop my left hip to pull my belly in. Big inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. I love this warm-up because it's warming up the whole spinal column in cat-cow and pelvic tilt, the neck, and then we're really warming up your major joints, which is your ankle, your knee, your hip, your shoulder, your elbow, your wrist. 12 major joints, right? So we're really covering a lot very quickly. It's a very just intentional or intelligent warm-up. Like, what is a warm-up? Warm up all the joints, increase blood flow. This is like one of the main problems in the modern world is people like lack blood flow. That's why, like, you know, being lazy is like the worst. It's like, it's worse than over-exercising, right? All right, keep going, guys. I move forward, down dog. So here's where I get into my calves and my feet for the first time more, my ankles more. So I like to suggest moving in ways that feel good initially. Once you warm up your body via a little bit of movement, it's, you know, come to that next layer of the down dog with the subtle refinements. Press your index finger and thumb down more. So your inner hand, okay? Notice that, if your inner hand's lifting up. We want to work towards that opposite tendency, just like most cues. Press the inner hand down, lengthen through those arms and sit bones up and back. So some mornings, if I was feeling really good, I don't need movement there. I'm kind of in the opposite today. Really didn't sleep that great last night, kind of kept waking up with a little bit of congestion these days, kind of, I'm not sure, spring. So, you know, my yoga practice probably be softer today, at least in the beginning. But on a good day, I'd go boom, right into a disciplined down dog where I'd really focus on breathing. I try to relax the back of my neck, lift my sit bones up and back, lengthen my side bodies. And I would really breathe with all my awareness. I'd be focusing less on that physical part of the pose. So last few moments here, please. Yogis, your head is below your heart, okay? That's called an inversion, increasing blood flow to brain. I mentioned the number one problem is just not enough blood flow to critical areas. You know, your brain uses 20% of your total body energy, 20%. And it's, you know, by weight and by cell, it's not that much of the body, but it's using so much energy. And how do we get that blood, the energy to the brain is via the blood, okay? If you don't not get enough blood flow to the brain, a lot of problems start happening. Okay, listen, let's keep going here, guys. Drop down to your knees. Just a quick warm-up stretch for the side body. Sit on the heels. Easier, sit on the heels. Stronger, look how I scooch my feet right a little and I get my left sit bone on the floor. This is a big stretch. It looks simple, but be easy, okay? Right hand down, left arm up and over. Deep breathing, please. It's a short stretch. Not a lot of time, okay? I lengthen my core. See how I tend around here? I want to lift up the core. Remember the idea of always keeping my shoulders back and down? That is basically the main cue of your scapula. I want those shoulders back and down, okay? Okay, go slow, yogis. Big inhale. We're going to take the left hand down, move forward a little bit to bring my heels to the center and to the left. So remember, that wasn't long enough. Make it, stay in it longer. No problem. You don't need to do every posture the exact amount I am. Ideally, you find positions in class that are, you know, you can tell you need and you hold longer, okay? So second side, my right sit bone is on the floor. My left sit bone is actually kind of sitting on my right foot. And that creates a lateral pelvic tilt. Okay, big inhale. We don't want to hold that one too long. Right hand down, lean forward. Come forward to our tabletop. So lateral, you can see our planes are getting more challenging. Options here. Right foot steps back, pause. The action here is left arm out and up. So it's a rotation from your core. My right leg is back. Inhale, left arm out and up. Exhale, left hand down. Again, inhale. It's a warm-up twist. Not supposed to be super strenuous. Okay, we're here. Inhale. If you want a little bit more, hover that right foot again. Keep the right foot where it is, but drop the right hip down. Press your left foot down. You're going to notice it's going to be a little bit more difficult to twist at that point. Okay? Pull the belly in. Inhale, left arm out and up. Exhale, left hand down. Last 2 or 3. You're really only getting to about 6, maybe 9. Max would be like 12 reps there. So easier here. Okay? Stronger here. Easiest is just knees down. Second side, please. It's just like 3-legged dog. You know, we're in down dog, we lift that leg up. Same principle there. Left leg goes back. At your pace, please take your time. Inhale, right arm out and up. Exhale, right hand down. So to be clear, I'm twisting with my core, yogis. Okay? So my left leg is back. Inhale. Exhale. That's it. Very simple. If you want more, you hover the left foot. Okay, there's going to be more balance, more strength. Because there's more tension and strain, there's going to be less range of motion most likely. Okay? Go ahead. So we've gotten our first twist, woke up that core pretty good. First side bend, we're ready to go a little bit bigger. I keep moving forward. Downward facing dog is next. So it's the second time here. Okay, a little bit more active. Press through palms, lift sit bones up and back. Don't forget, you can bend your knees, yogis. You don't have to straighten your legs or press your heels down. You energetically bring your heels down, but you might never get there, right? No big deal. So now we're going to come into those chaturanga vinyasas. Okay, at your pace. Notice the articulation of the body. So I slow down and get more detailed. I lift my heels and then I round my spine like a wave. So it's almost like a cat posture. I find more of a neutral. I bend the elbows. I'm going to take it down to the chest. I inhale. It's more like a cow posture. Some of us might go up a little higher. Use the core, tuck the chin, lift the hips up and back for the dog. Most of you know this stuff. I don't need to slow that down, but inhale is a plank. Exhale is a lowering down and a push-up. Inhale is a nice back activator or front body stretcher. Ideally, you activate your back in both, right? Downward dog. Let's take a few more. If you want to add some push-ups. You know, some of you know I love to study exercise physiology, and I've mentioned it before. There's a thing called the exercise paradox, where exercise is both very good for you, but also can be very bad for you. We know that, basically exercise creates what's called like free radicals, right? Where your body, it's like damaging to the body. We know that being sedentary is the worst, not moving the body. So movement, you've heard movement is medicine. That is literally true, right? It reminds me of this quote I heard, a joke my anatomy teacher said once. She said, let me think for a moment. She said, okay, here's take one pill to have more energy and to feel better and to live longer. Take one pill a day, but just take the pill to the gym, take it for a walk in the sunshine, take the pill on a bike ride, and then, that's the joke. Don't ever take it, just take it with you. That the movement of the body is medicine, that increasing blood flow is so exercise, what we're doing is signaling our body to make energy by exercising. Now, I'll get more into the paradox into a moment here, but I want to keep you going. Downward dog, guys. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. So walk your feet to your front of your mat. Let's take that first nice big stretch you all love here. Big inhale. I get the length with my core. I bend my knees as much as I need to, and then I forward fold. Take a few breaths. If you want a little bit more, here we go, arms back. You could also kind of sway. You know, what's the best option? It's kind of like, what does your body need? Not what you like necessarily, because that can create a lot of patterns and tendencies and kind of reinforce what's already happening. And Hatha Yoga, I want you to remember to approach what you do less of sometimes. Not always, but that's a good, like, kind of discipline aspect of our practice, is to be honest with ourselves about what we need as opposed to what we always like. Okay? Now go slow. Let's bend our knees. Let's rise up to standing. Squeeze the booty a little bit. And then I'm going to go shake it out a little bit here. All right, so we are going to do the squat kriya. Now, I mentioned moving the body's medicine. We do want to make sure we challenge our body and almost like it's called HIIT. It's one of the most modern kind of great forms of exercise. High intensity interval. We're going to work hard for about 1.5 minutes. Then I'm going to give you a nice break. And then we're going to do it again. Okay? So we're doing that squat kriya today. I'm going to take my right hand on top of my left. The arms are a measurement of my posture. I don't want my arms to go forward or back. I'm just going to simply inhale, exhale. Inhale. Air squatting. I have you on the clock. I want you to continue. If you always move slow, I want you to move a little bit faster this morning. Yogis, aerobic exercises is key. You know, sometimes yoga doesn't speed up the heart rate enough. I'm not saying I want you to jog for an hour with your heart rate maxed. I actually do not recommend that. We don't want max heart rate forever. You know your heart is one of the #1 places to produce a lot of free radicals, right? If the heart overworks, muscles produce a lot of waste, acid, and free radicals where the body's using there's these like random electrons everywhere. Up and down, come on, 45 more seconds, go faster. Go to where your mind and emotions are challenged. We need it to be emotional, okay? That's called the squat. Oh yeah, don't let your arms go down, yogi. So we're not doing this. The arms are supposed to stay parallel to the floor. So with practice, you're gonna go deeper. And then you're going to get more butt work. The lower the squat, the more the butt is working. Okay, there's your first round of 2. Take one of these. Let's take a stretch in between here, yogis. Before we do our second set, widen your feet. So Hatha Yoga, what I'm doing is bringing you to a different plane. So straight leg and lateral should be totally fine here. Look at the right toes turn out and the left toes turn right. Slow down your breath and your heart. Engage your legs. You might want your block. Okay. Inside that kind of right big toe area. Watch the hips. Big right hip down. Okay. You can reach your arms out and laterally. Take your time finding your position. Notice here, I'm much more flexible. But I'm just trying to create a lot of active energy in the legs, a lot of active lengthening through the core, and then I'm twisting my chest kind of up. A few more breaths here on our first side. So you can see the pattern. We did something forward and back in the beginning, cat-cow, and opposite leg and arm, down dog, and then we moved laterally. Then we came back to forward and back, and then we did twist. So forward and back is the foundation, and then we work into the more complex ways your body moves. Whether it's warm-up or strengthening or cardio, okay? Back up nice and slow, please. You can always take your block with you. It's a nice way if you only have one. Turn your toes the opposite direction, okay? About heel to heel alignment's a good cue, but I tend to find I like my feet are slightly wider than that. It's just less kind of achy in the joints. Left hip down, hinge. Now remember, yogis, if you're flexible, I want you to work on really activating. If you're tight, really restricted body, you can be a little bit heavier here. Let go, right? So Person to person, this is going to be a very different posture. A weightlifter, I would say, relax here. You got to soften a little bit. You're too good at keeping your muscles tense. Someone who doesn't exercise enough, the body will lose the ability to activate muscles well and keep them activated. So try to notice your condition. And now, how is it relevant to you, that idea? And eventually it's kind of like the two merge. So you activate, but also it's soft and easy. All right, now I want you to take it slow, okay? We're gonna rise up whenever you're feeling good about it. So I want you to take a moment to set up our second round of squat Kriya. And I want you to set the intention of working here, yogis. I want you to spike your heart rate, okay? I want you to get to where you're like begging for mercy and do a few more at least, okay? Feet are a little bit wide, turned out, barely. Left arm on top of right. Just holding those arms up is gonna bring some shoulder strength. All right, I'm watching the clock. Here we go. Notice my knees do not buckle in, no valgus knee. So the knee is moving right over the foot. It doesn't go forward. My butt drops back and down. All we're doing really, guys, is bending the knee and straightening. You can arch your back as you go down, but just keep that abdomen in, supporting that arch. Arching your back with abdominal support is a very different thing. Come on, keep going. I did my squats yesterday, yogis. I did seven sets of my weighted squats. I can't squat right now. Come on, keep going. You got this. Push harder. You're in that moment, right? Where you're working your heart, you're flushing that whole body. Come on. 45 more seconds. Nice, Dawn. Nice, Brian. Yeah, you can go a little deeper. Nice, Gayla. Yeah. Yeah, you got to shake it out. Just make sure you come up all the way, Gayla, okay? Come up all, there you go. Sometimes we get into the pattern like we're like here, which I do. That balance is so tough. But get that full range going too. Sometimes we go less range, sometimes we go full range. It's good to mix it in. If we're too much here, kind of teaches our body to hunch over. So I do want you to come up, okay? Last 10 seconds. Big inhale, get out of there. Give it one of those. So we did our lateral movements. I do want to do our triangle, yogis, our revolve. And you will need a block for this one, okay? So we'll put it near the right side. Let's open our feet. We're not in vinyasa style, right? We're just kind of going through some different exercises here. I'm going to pivot all the way to face the right. So my hips aren't face the side, they pivot to the right. Got it? My feet are about hips width distance. Back foot open, but sealed down. Right hip back. Okay, now notice I don't want my feet too close. Ideally about 3 feet apart, okay? Right hip back. You can do left arm up or both arms up if you're feeling good. Big inhale, lift the chest, engage the legs. Don't forget you can micro bend your knee, and then we're gonna hinge. If you want to forward fold and take a little more of a hamstring stretch to start, you're more than welcome. I'm not going to take much time there. Okay, so if you want to go more pyramid, we call it, just make sure that right hip is going back, okay? The posture I'm mainly going to instruct is called the revolve triangle. Left hand would be on that block, inside the right foot to start. I would inhale, half lift. My right hip is energetically working back. My thighs are engaging, and I'm twisting my chest to the right. Lengthen that spine. If it's easy, right arm can go out and up. Just a few more breaths. You don't always have to revolve here, right? You could just do pyramid. It's totally fine. Just breathe, yogis. We get too critical about our perfection of the poses if we start to breathe more skillfully, a lot of these things are exposed, right? We want to make sure we're just stepping into the next layer, not obsessing over just the physical aspect of the form or the practice. Go to that next layer, Smoother, slower, more skillful breathing in and out your nose. Okay? Right hand down, bend right knee, rise up. We're basically just going to switch sides, yogis. All right? So nothing fancy. Take your time setting it up. My left toe now forward, my right toe angled open a little bit behind me. Left hip back, ribs in. If you want a lot, right arm up or both arms up, or both hands on hips, start to hinge. Don't forget to give a little micro bend maybe, okay? Eventually, hands can go on blocks. You might take a breath or two just to forward fold a little bit. And then eventually from your core, you'd inhale, half lift. You twist to the left, so across the front leg. Left hip actively back so that there is pelvic tilt activation. Both front and back, so anterior tilt and both lateral. So your left sit bone is kind of reaching back. Engage those legs, press the big toes down. Try to relax a little, yogis. Shoulders away from ears, so it's like you're putting your scapula down in your back pockets. Close your eyes maybe even. Just focus on your breathing and work here. Yeah, and if this is too much, this is a really tough pose, guys. We're on the second side and revolve. Remember, we did open hip, we did triangle. So let's slowly exit, top hand down, strong core. Just to be clear, it's hard for me to see sometimes on Zoom, your angles and your camera. The first one we did this. My right leg is forward, I hinge right, and I'm open the whole time. The second one we did is right foot forward, I'm actually twisting across to the right. So those are very different. Sometimes people do they're not distinguishing the difference there. So the first one was this one, right? Triangle open, right leg forward. And the second one was here. I twist to the right. So it's the opposite, let's say, okay? Just so you're aware there, it looked like some of you might have been doing triangle again. Yogi squat, get to the front of your mat. Remember we did squats, now we take it down. Widen your feet a little bit, turn your feet open, get low. Elbows push in, lift the chest. All right, take a breath or two to neutralize. If you want to do a crow, just to be clear, side plank is next. So you might want to save a little energy there. But push the knees open, okay? Lift the chest. So you can do a side plank. You're also welcome to add things. Just notice, yogis, press the big toe down. People tend to roll to the outer edge of the foot. That's like the main thing. It's like, what is my body doing? Become aware of the tendencies of yourself, physically, mentally, and that's yoga in the beginning. You gotta be aware first to change, okay? Big inhale, lift your hips, step back. We're gonna go right to plank. So boom, weight bearing on your arms, okay? Goal is now weight bearing on your arms. We did some standing stuff. Heels to the left, go slow, fingertips to your right hand, side plank. You can reach your top arm forward, you can lift your top leg. If there's other variations you wanna do, moving, binding, by all means, but a nice sturdy hold. Now, if you have trouble with side plank, I don't really recommend this one as much. Half side plank is more like this. Forearm and knee down, okay? But I don't want my butt sticking behind me. I want to bring those hips more forward, okay? I still want to get that the idea is if my knee's down under my hip, the pelvis and the torso aren't working in the stream. That's side plank. If I put my knee here, the pelvis is just supported. That's half moon more, okay? Just to distinguish the difference, half side plank is on the outer shin and knee on the forearm, okay? Please go slow. We are gonna do 2 rounds right here, right now. So high plank to side plank, please take it slow. Try to work on your transitions. Do not rush to forms. Don't just focus on postures now. Right hand down, please go slow. Left arm goes high. Second side, first round of side plank. Yeah, this is supposed to be difficult, yogis. You're supposed to have to, in a sense, take a break. Yeah, it's a 1-arm balance, all right? So we went from the first side and now we're just on the second side. Try to notice if your hips rotate down or up. Try to stack your hips. Pull the ribs in if your back arches. Okay? Notice if your shoulders are near your ears here too. Relax them. Okay? Now I'm going to go right to our second round. Okay? But it is arm to arm, so hopefully it's okay there. Now listen, let's switch it up a little. Come back to high plank, but come down to your forearms. So we're going to be in forearm plank on your chest. You're going to look like something like this. Now turn your left forearm in, side plank on your right forearm, left forearm. Just to give your wrist a little break there, easier. I mentioned it here. Stronger, full side plank. I've showed this little movement here. I've showed lifting the leg. I've showed taps in front and back. I've showed here. Please pick a variation. This is usually considered like a peak strengthener of the side body. Remember we did the seated stretch and the triangle? Now we tighten up. We got some good release. Now, let's get stronger. You got one more round. The third, here's the third of the four. Whenever you're ready, you're gonna slowly turn your chest to forearm plank, turn your right forearm in, heels to the right, and your fourth round here of the side plank. Last go here. Work hard, please.
If you're gonna try to just recognize if you need a break, just don't collapse like too fast, from super strain to just releasing, like save energy for an exit. That's a really good way to hurt yourself, is to be in a one arm balance and, just collapse really quick. Just know, work hard in that moment and try to save energy for a slow release. Okay. Don't just kind of flop out of any posture here. That's gonna
irritate your body, okay? Now, I want you to take your time. We're gonna come back to our forearm plank and take it down to the chest. And you notice what I'm gonna do here, just a little bit of this. Take a moment, nice job there. So I want you to think back body strengthening, locust. This is one I'm gonna be always teaching a lot of yogis, all right? So lengthen the core. Our arms were just wide. Our arms have been forward a lot. I want the arms back now. So if you're feeling really good, you could do the crazy one where we touch our fingertips together. We don't intertwine the fingers. We just bring our fingertips to touch and you hold them there, okay? You work on straightening your arms, rolling your shoulders back. The main goal here really is to lift your chest, your arms, straighten your legs and lift your legs. So everything lifts. Lift your arms higher or just squeeze your imaginary block. So behind you, you're just squeezing your imaginary block. Now lengthen your neck. Don't look at the screen. Feel your back body. Arms lift higher, chest lifts higher, legs lift higher. Navel lifts up also, but try to straighten your knees and point your toes. So there's a lot of activation through the legs. Okay, now please go slow. Big inhale, let's lift a little higher. Take a little breather. Listen, arms down by side, big toes touch, palms face up, heels fall apart. And just turn your left ear down, your left cheekbone. Take a little neck stretch.
So that, they call this like the complete extension of the body. So your spine, your chest is lifting, that's spinal extension. Your legs lift, that's hip extension. Your knee straightens, your toes point in, that's knee extension and ankle extension, some people call it, and it's arm extension and elbow extension. It's like every single extension pattern of the body. Okay, one more round, please. Only two. Okay, here we go. Please work hard here. Our final back bends today for opening are going to be more Camel and Anjaneyasana. So they are going to be a little bit more stretchy. All right. So I want you to work in that back body. Go ahead. Everything lifts. Oh, you got to lift the arms higher, yogi. So palms face each other behind you. And it's like you're squeezing an imaginary block behind you and lifting that block up off your back. Yeah. Range is going to be limited here. It's not an easy thing to train the lower back. All right, so we got to make sure we are doing that regularly. Sorry guys, my computer, an update message. I lost you, there we go.
Lower down, and your second ear goes down. Arms down by side, palms face up, big toes touch, heels fall apart. Left ear on mat, or second ear, please. Relax, close your eyes. Smoother, deeper breaths in and out the nose. All right, yogis, child pose. Take a moment there. Okay, downward dog is where we're going to meet. Take a moment here just to kind of reset after the big side body and the back body. We only have a little bit more challenge, so stay strong. And then we're going to be in a little bit more of like a stretch practice, okay? So stay focused here, come back to your breath. Downward dog. Big inhale on your nose. And big exhale. We're just going to go right foot steps forward. We already did the leg lifts multiple ways. Locust. So in lunge, rise, high lunge. So we are working our lunge now, okay? Bend your front knee. You're getting away with no chair because we did squat kriya. So we're doing the high lunge. Balance work. Hands can come on hips, shoulders back and down. If you want to do something like eagle arms or reverse prayer, that might be good. I'm going to bow my chest. Our pose we're really going to work on here is warrior three. So back leg lifts, chest comes parallel to floor. Drop your left hip down, lift your left leg up. All right? Notice my chest and leg are level. I'm working on engaging my standing leg. I don't want you to hold lunge too long today. All right? I want you to hold warrior three instead. Breathe. Focus. Now go slow. Back to high lunge. Hands plant, right foot goes back. So these are going to be our last options for vinyasa, or I want to come into an inversion practice. Now, this might be a little too much for some of us, but like I said, I want to get back to moving the body fast. Side planks, they've all been slow and still. Shoulders over wrists. Look at the little bend, the straight arm, the little spring, the soft landing. The heels kind of tap the butt. So I now am moving faster, I'm jumping, I'm thinking explosive work. Okay, last few tries. So this is back to weight bearing on the arms, but not so like static. It's like there's moving, okay? Down dog, left foot steps forward. High lunge, take a moment here, no rush. You're a little bit behind me, you're supposed to be, okay? Take a moment. Slow down now after the fast. Breathe, smooth, deep inhale. Smooth, deep exhale. Hands go in form, either hips, opposite eagle, reverse prayer. You're gonna bow your chest slowly forward once your arms are intentionally set, and then you're gonna shift forward onto your warrior three leg. Your back leg lifts, your chest comes more forward and down.
And I've said it many times, you know, standing split is always an option here, toppling tree or handstand hop. Nice. Good work, everyone. Yeah, supposed to be tough.
Go slow. High lunge, right foot at the back of the mat. And this is your last chance for a vinyasa or, you know, the handstand hop, okay? Hands plant, left foot goes back. Vinyasa, step feet closer, little hop. Soft landing. Now, it might look just a little bit more like this, right? That's still great for you. Just try to do it skillfully. Okay? With practice, you're going to hop more, land softer. With more practice, you're going to hop, maybe hover. But that's not really like the goal necessarily. Okay? It's to just move my body. It's to practice skillful movement in a faster manner. Nice, guys. And you got to hop up on the wall. And a lot of times in yoga classes, we'll bring you over to the wall and try to maybe even get you to hop up there or crawl your feet up the wall, and then you can kind of stay up there, right? It's a nice thing to do if you have a wall and you want to, approach that in your practice, okay? So those are all forward bends. Handstand, hop, lunge. I really consider most of those a forward bend. Lunge, maybe not so much, but let's bring it down to the knees for our camel posture. So I am going to do 2 rounds. We're going to go slow here and try to hold a little extra. So camel posture here, yogis. The knees are about a foot apart. They're not together. I always see people doing this. Just so you're clear, that's advanced. Okay? I want the knees a little wider. Your body is going to be able to move more freely. Okay? As you can move too freely, we got to tighten things up. Arms can go up, back, fingers face up on your hips. Get a little wrist stretch here. I roll my shoulders back and down. Now, the main thing I'm really looking at for is this. I don't want my back to arch, yogis. I want my pubic bone to go forward, maybe even slightly up, okay? I push my glutes kind of down as I lift my chest, navel up. All right, shoulders back and down. Some of us can even let our head fall back and our jaw releases. So this is really biggest back bend of the class, or biggest front body stretch. 3 more breaths in your first round. Try to breathe in and out into the abdomen more. Your ribs are kind of too tight here to breathe in the chest. Doesn't have to be deep, yogis, okay? Just don't stick your butt out behind you as you do this. That is literally the opposite of what we're trying to do. Hip extension. All right, big inhale. Take a moment to sit. If you need to go to a quick child pose, that might be nice. Second side, go ahead. Or second round, excuse me.
And you just take your time. We're in back bending practice. You don't have to move when I say. I'm just kind of reminding you don't want to take too long of a rest. You kind of calm your body down too much there. You want to stay kind of right in that mind and body state. Yeah, just try not to arch your back. Tailbone has to kind of go down and forward between your legs. Okay, so pubic bone kind of forward and up. Navel pulls in more. Belly pulls in. Nice, that's it. And eventually, yeah, you can grab your heels or your blocks behind you. Sometimes that can just make us drop back too much. You get some more of that compression type back bending, but lift the navel and the chest upward. Think up dog or cobra to the sky.
All right, now big inhale, please. Take it down to the knees. Take a quick seated meditation. Just let that soothe in. You can take child pose also. All right? Anytime you need a rest, child pose is so good for calming your nervous system. And camel is so good for exciting it, making it crazy. Okay? Just back bends in general. So I do want to do one quick ab tightener. We didn't hold any strong, downward facing planks today. We didn't do a lot of knees to chest. So I know you guys want to do a little bit of abs. So this is our last strenuous thing of class. I do want to make sure I save a little extra time today for stretching. I've been kind of cutting you short on that a lot. So we will do that, but let's do our abs first. First option is more of the full body movement, okay? So I'm going to be in the boat pose. Now, my body wants to round here. So the objective is to sit up taller, lift that chest. And what I'm going to do is slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae, tap my shoulders, keep my lower back down, and come back up. So I go really slow, inhale and exhale. Now, if that's too much, I would just suggest more of like a little crunch. Keep your feet down, okay? Lower back presses down. Inhale, reach your arms back. Exhale, crunch. So it's an isolated ab thing, okay? Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Yogis, the goal is to keep your lower back down when you're lowering down, all right? Don't let your lower back arch, please. Now, if you want a little bit more, whether you're up here doing this, we could add a little twist. So inhale, left, right knee, left shoulder. So as I come up, I twist. So as I sit up, I do a twist with my upper body. If I'm down here, I go here, I twist a little bit outside my left thigh. Inhale, exhale between, inhale, a little bit outside my right. So either way, you can add a little twist there. Whether you're doing what we call like the open chain sit-up, a very unstable, challenging form of a sit-up, or a crunch, you can still add that little twist, okay? Keep going, last few. Now there is lateral sit-up and lateral crunch too, if you know how to do it. I won't do it today. We did side planks for the side body strengtheners, okay? So lateral sit-ups like high level intermediate though, for sure, okay? So the reason I wanted to bring you into abs is because our first big stretch is basically a back bend, okay? So meet back up and seated. Whenever you're done with your abs, some people feel the burn in 30 seconds, some people need a couple minutes to get that going there, right? Depends on your level of training in your abs. So we're gonna swing it around, and with about 10 minutes left or so, I wanna get to our first big stretch. Pigeon. I don't really teach this enough as a pose, and it is really awesome, especially after squat kriya. Left foot back, like the beginning, right shin forward. Now listen, yogis, I mentioned this is a back bend because we're gonna do it upright today. I'm not gonna have you forward fold here, okay? I'm gonna walk my hands back, walk my left foot back. Walk my hands back, walk my left foot back. Now, my left hip rolls down and forward. My right shin, foot pressed down actively. I pull my navel up, roll my shoulders back and down, lift my chest and my heart. A few breaths here, please. Now, with practice, you can work on getting enough weight back, so left foot is crawling, hips back, where you can press down to your shin enough, so same cues, but very work, you know, and I can start to hover my hands. So my hands are hovering, because I'm pressing down through my right foot, my left leg is actively reaching back. Warning, this posture is, you know, very symmetrical in a sense where you can get a little uncomfort happening in your lower back area, particularly on the side where the leg is back, so left leg here. So it's an upright pigeon, more active. And I want you to be aware that pigeon laying down is a completely different body form. So that's usually not noticed, that when I'm upright in pigeon, I'm big anterior tilt and spinal extension and hip extension. So let's say cow pose. And when I lay down forward in pigeon, you're in the spinal rounding, posterior tilt. Okay, so it is very, very different, yogis. All right, big inhale, please. Let's do our second side. Shake it out here. And you add anything you want in between, right? You want to do a chaturanga again, you're more than welcome to. We're just kind of shifting gears as a group here because we started out quite strong. So left shin forward. You got to crawl the right foot back. So you use your toes and your hands to crawl your back leg, your upper body backward, okay? And then you try to roll that right hip down and press your outer left shin and foot down to stabilize the body in the front. So the weight is pulling back, you're pressing your left shin down, you're lifting your chest, pulling your navel in, shoulders back and down. Think of the pigeon, yogis. The pigeon has that puffed up chest, right? It's not like this. You're working towards that pigeon form, that puffed up chest. And then eventually you can press down so much with your front leg and reach back so much with your back leg and lift your side bodies that you can start to hover your hands. Where pigeon really is a type of lunge, right? We hold lunge like this. Your leg is just in a different form. It's a lunge, okay? It's not always to be lazy and stretching. It's also to build strength in. I meant to say you could also reach back with the opposite, whatever leg is back, you reach back with that arm and grab your foot. That is the recipe of how you do tweak the lower back in this posture though, because we twist and then we kind of crunch, reach back, we pull that heel more. I forgot to say that on the first side, but you're always welcome to add more advanced postures. They do that in a lot of yoga classes, depending on how you're feeling and what your objective is. If your objective is to avoid injury at all costs, then you don't want to really probably ever do that one, okay? Now go slow. You're going to release that. I want to do one more hip opener. I'm going to do inner thighs. Now we did triangle. So that did get gracilis and medial hamstring, so membranosus. I want to get our adductors. So easiest would be something like this, because this would be a forward bend after the back bend of pigeon style today. That's easiest, okay? If you want to go big though, it's called frog. I would have to swing my legs around the table. It's basically, the same stretch or same category. Just notice I widen my knees. That's my objective, but look at my feet. They're now on the inner edge, and the feet are slightly wider than the knees, okay? I drop down to my forearms, and I make it a meditation. So let me show you if you're new. Got one or two new faces here. So you're basically like this on your chest, though. See how the knees and hips are aligned? I'm not here, okay? I'm here. This one might sting the knees a little, so you might need padding, okay? So this is our last hip stretcher class. I am going to do a spinal twist, but
come on, breathe, yogis. Best yogi's the best breather. It's not the gymnast or the the most flexible. It's that one who can slow down that mind and focus more on the subtle self. To connect to your body on these deeper layers. Yoga really is this shift from this kind of subjective. So first I tell you to slow down and feel everything. Become very good at feeling, being, the subjective experiencer. That's like beginner yoga. You need to slow down and connect to my body, my breath, right? But then intermediate yoga in more of a state of consciousness is the shift towards more the objective. So it's like it's the observer. That's tough. You get really good at feeling everything. Then it's like, no. Stop feeling, step back and look at it all objectively. Observe it all. Be the witness. That's intermediate. Okay. And advanced is not doing any of that stuff. No subjective experiencing, no observing either. Just a calm, neutral mind, meditating, just being in postures, kind of doing less actually, right? So we work on doing and then we work on just being. So when you're done there, slowly exit position. So this is a nice counter, yogis. It's a twist with the cross leg. If you want to lay on your back, feel free. I know, no yoga on the back today. I know some of you love the yoga on the back. I totally understand. Legs forward, seated spinal twist. I want to cross my thighs now, okay? Which means right ankle outside left knee, left hand swings around outside right knee. Deepest twist of class. Roll shoulders back and down. Sit up and twist. Gaze over the right shoulder. Last few breaths. If you know how to do double leg bends, or like I said, if you want to lay on your back and do a twist, that's fine. All right? Last few breaths. This is a short posture. The more you keep studying yoga, the deeper and more it exposes itself. It's like yoga, even for years, doesn't really expose its majesty to you. It really is such an incredible like science and even art that just the more you study it, the deeper it just gets the soul. It's like, wow, the layers of yoga study really, unfathomable. You can't even comprehend it all, really, right? So let's do our second side. Deepest twist of class, please. Most yogis might say that this is the biggest stretch of class. Yeah, bigger than frog, bigger than pigeon. Okay. Yogis, make sure you sit up and roll your shoulders back and down. Remember, the therapeutic twist is to sit up and twist, not here. And granted, there are some benefits to be had there. I twist all the time with spinal rounded, but if it's a tendency for you to be here and twist, no. Chest lifts, shoulders back and down, and then twist from there. Okay. So traditionally, you finish up those huge stretches, right? And then you take one last kind of more symmetrical, calming position. So if you want to lay on your back and put your legs up or throw a block under you, if you want to just go here, kind of touching your toes, a bigger variation could be plow, deepest forward bend of class. Our last few stretches didn't really have that big of a forward bend, right? Frog was not really one. Pigeon, how we did it was not a forward bend. So a forward bend would be good. Easiest could just be something like this or this or this. Stronger could be swinging your legs up over your body or sitting up and touching your toes. This is our final asana of practice, kind of intentional body form. And then we're going to do our closing meditation. So back to the, just quickly, I didn't finish up this idea of the exercise paradox, that exercising too hard is bad for you. You basically create too much free radical damage and too much acidity and use too much of your energy reserves. Moderate exercise is so fantastic because, and I would consider what we did today moderate, right? We're not running a marathon here. This is, in the modern world, we're kind of this idea, it's like, oh, something's good for you, for me, more is better, right? Garlic is good for me, now I eat it in every meal or something, right? It's really considered like a medicine, garlic or something like that. The idea is like, moderation in all things is like healthiest. Moderation and relaxing too. Being sedentary, not exercising enough is the worst. It's worse than training for marathons because your body actually just basically degrades. You don't get blood flow and oxygen. So we do want to work hard, but also, that's very different for every person. So in these group classes, I'm really relying on you to, make it hard for yourself, but also be kind to yourself at the same time. All right. So let's start our final meditation here, yogis. So you're going to find a seated position if you'd like, or, most of us, it was a tough class. I said just laying on the back, shoulders back and down. If you're seated, sit tall. And the goal is to just kind of sit and be still, not do too much for just about 3 minutes today, okay? Close your eyes. Even relax your breath, your tongue, your eyes, your face. Everything now just kind of gives and relaxes as you just sit in the echoes of the practice. Final pose here.